as it's shared, I'll let you know. Okay, so can you see the slides now?
Yes, I can see it. Stage
Okay.
is all yours.
Yes, so but
Yes.
my name is Sarfraz Naz, and in this session, I'm going to sort of give some pointers on how, and this is all in my opinion, how to effectively use the Microsoft Learn site. Before we proceed, I just want to thank the organizers of the Global Power Platform Bootcamp for giving me this opportunity of providing, giving me this platform to sort of present my session. And just a brief intro of myself. I work for a company called 365 Mechanics. We are Microsoft Gold partner specializing in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform implementations. I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I've got 15 plus Microsoft certifications in areas of Power Platform, Dynamics 365, customer engagement, Azure, and Microsoft 365. And these are my contact details. Inadvertently, I haven't put the LinkedIn URL. I'll put it in the chat later. So you can contact me in case of any issues. Okay, so moving forward, just a brief background of how we, and by we I mean the global Microsoft slash the implementation community, of how we have arrived at this Microsoft Learn site. So previously, what used to happen was that acquiring product knowledge, and I'm talking specifically. So all these slides I'll just mention is specifically for Microsoft. So acquiring product knowledge for Microsoft was either through project experience, like you would be working in within a company and you would be working on, let's say, a SharePoint on-premises project, and you would learn as you go through the project from seniors, from MSDN sites, from community-run tech sites or personal blogs, and then it would sometimes it would be a bit of a hit and miss, and also through project experience and through the senior resources, you would learn and acquire the knowledge over a period of time. So Microsoft identified this gap, and then in 2016, Microsoft launched doc.microsoft.com. This site provided deep down specific details on a very technical level against almost all the Microsoft products, and it was very well received by the developer community. Unfortunately, for the average developer like me and thousands of others, that website was too deep, and also it narrowed down into particular topics, and it was a bit difficult to sort of see that, okay, for a particular product, how best to sort of start and where to go from there. So again, this gap was identified by Microsoft, and then in 2018 they launched the Microsoft Learn site, and the idea was pretty simple to make the information for all the all the products as easy as possible, so that the average user and even the users who don't have IT backgrounds, but they have dedication and motivation, they can quickly acquire the knowledge. And in the words of their own manager Jeff, Microsoft Learn, the best place to start learning Microsoft technology. And believe me, I can assure you that this statement is 100% correct. Okay, so let's just have a quick look on the features of the site. So it provides you learning content on almost all Microsoft products. There are options for intelligent product-based and role-based searching. Again, this searching is for the content. The site provide you live TV and also on-demand video sessions. So live TV is, for example, Ignite is coming up next month. So that the Ignite sessions will be available on the live TV. Similarly, when other Microsoft deployment, Microsoft sessions come up, they are available over here. Next, this site provide you all the certification details and allow you to schedule your exams. And also my personal favorite, gamification. So this is one of the key points in my opinion, where Microsoft have gamified the website and make the learning a lot more fun. Okay, I think it's enough talk. Let's have a quick walkthrough of the site itself. So I'm just switching over. Let me just quickly share my other screen. Okay, so can you see my browser?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
the Discover
so
Learning Path. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So this is the landing page for the Microsoft Learn website, and just a quick follow through. You have got different links here which you can go through for live TV certification details. Browsing different learning paths again, and I'll explain all of this in a moment. And then you have got your popular learning paths and modules. Similarly, the current favorites. So the first thing a person should do is that he or she should have a Microsoft account so that they can log on to the website. It's very important that which account you use to log on to this site. The reason I say is that I've been a victim of this, so I know, and I just want other people not to fall into the same trap. So if you have aspirations like me of let's say in the future becoming a Microsoft certified trainer, or let's say becoming a Microsoft like a most valuable professional MVP, then it is very, 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 very important, and I can't stress this enough, that you should have your own Office 365 account. And the reason I say is that some of the perks for this for MCTs and MVPs, you cannot avail those perks on the default Hotmail or Outlook.com accounts. So as an example, with the MCT, you get the Power BI professional license for 1 year. Like as long as you are an MCT, you get that license for free. But to use that license, you need to have a work account. So in my case, I frequently switch jobs, so I don't recommend anybody to use their work email wherever they are working to create their profile, because if in the future you switch your job, then it's a whole headache talking with Microsoft support to get your account switch over to your new working email address. So that's why I recommend create your own Office 365 basic account, whatever. Just have it in your own name, in your own domain. I'm just going to log into this site, and right now I'm going to use my Hotmail one because, as I mentioned, I've been a victim of this mistake. And also, whatever you do, everything is linked together here. So when you do your modules from here, when you schedule your certifications, everything is linked to your login account. So as I mentioned, it's very important. Okay, so let's go through some of the options. As I mentioned, that the first option the website provides you is to browse the learning content through various products. Some of the the most popular products are available in the drop downs, and also you can go through all the paths. It takes you to this site where on the left you can sort of filter on the products. Just keep an eye on this number. So these are the total available modules in the system right now. So as so just when you start filtering this side, let's say I just want to see modules for field service, Dynamics 365 field service. So only 52 results. So those are sort of filtered, and as you can see, the applied filter is over here. So only those modules come up which pertains to field service. Similarly, if I go down and let's say if I'm a beginner and I have no idea about field service, then there are levels. So I can filter the modules further by the level. And then as you can see now, the filter comes up to field service and beginner. It gives me an idea. But the most important thing is not to study or go through the content at the module level. Again, this is all my opinions, my personal opinions, and everybody can sort of do whatever they want, or they can disagree if they want to. So my understanding is, don't use the module. Always uh, whenever you are trying to study a topic, go through the learning path. And the concept behind a learning path is that a learning path groups related modules together in a logical sense. So instead of so just for example, this one is Introduction to Configuration in Dynamics 365 Model Driven Apps. So what Microsoft felt is related to this topic, they have grouped all those learning paths together, all those modules together. So as an example, this learning path, you can see we have got 1, 2, 3, three different modules. They are grouped together. So it's like a group. So for example, if I did not do this and I was just saying, okay, at this level, at the beginner level, all these modules which let's say I have to go through to learn field service, then at this point the onus is on me on sort of how to go about in a logical sense. And this was the same problem which people had on the doc.microsoft.com. Like the information was all there, but they did not know from where to start learning the information. So that's why these learning paths are very important. They give you so a guided path to follow. It's like a business process flow. So you better use it for your own sake. Okay, so now moving forward to the next one again, if for new people who are starting their journey with Microsoft technologies, and they, let's say somebody who's just about to graduate from uni or still in uni, or who are changing their field and coming up to this Microsoft stack, and they're not sure where to start, but they may have an idea of what they want to do. So as an example, if somebody is coming from a developer background and he is interested in becoming a developer on the Microsoft stack, then he can use these roles to sort of filter out and go towards that path. Or if somebody wants to become a functional consultant, he can go through that part. So let's say if somebody is aspiring to be a functional consultant, so all the functional consultant related learning paths modules are filtered out and are shown over here, and also certification details related to that area is also shown here. So it's just and guiding those people who does not have the requisite knowledge, or and they only know a certain like a high level information of what they want to do, but they don't really know what they have to do to achieve their dreams. So they can use this roles feature. As I mentioned, another feature of the website was Learn TV. So when you go on to Learn TV, so it's a 24/7 live TV by Microsoft. It has its own schedule coming up on the side, on the left hand side. And whenever Microsoft has any major event like your release wave 1 or release wave 2, share, like general announcements, or let's say Microsoft Ignite or Microsoft Build or any other huge conference, then all those sessions generally are available here, keynotes and other stuff as live TV. And also you have got curated information here for on-demand information. So if somebody who is a visual learner, I don't really use this feature, but it's good to know. So if somebody is a visual learner and they like to learn by watching lots of videos, then Learn TV is a good option. So as an example, beginner series to JavaScript, they have got small videos related to JavaScript, bite-sized videos. So somebody can do it, let's say in their office break, or even when they are commuting to work or coming back to home. So and this is sort of a visual learning. So if somebody is into visual learning, then Learn TV is very good. Next is my all-time favorite. This site gives you whatever you need to know about Microsoft certifications. It provides you overview. So first of all the certifications are logically grouped into different categories. So once you reach on this home page, and you know, and you have a slight idea of what you are looking for, you can quickly go into that particular section. So let's say again, if we are interested in functional consultancy, we go over there, and all the functional consultant related certification are available here. So again, keeping in our theme of field service. So if I go into field service, it's tell me what related certifications are available for field service. So currently we have got an associate level certification, which is 2-star. For field service, and also it is giving me if there is any prerequisite required. So currently there is no prerequisite, but an optional certification is the fundamentals one, which Microsoft is sort of recommending, but you don't have to follow that recommendation. So all of these details you can follow through here. Now if we go inside further details, let's say if I go inside this certification, it gives me an introduction of what this certification is all about and who should be targeting this certification, then also the job role and the required exams. So some of the Microsoft certifications are just based on one exam, and quite a few are based on two exams. So this particular one is based on two exams. So you have to pass both of these exams, PL 200 and MB 240, to achieve the certification. Now at this level, what I recommend people, and again it's my personal recommendation, don't see the skills measured. If you have got multiple exams, then don't follow the skill measure or the learning path from here. Go into the individual exams and basically take those as, because they're separate paper, separate examinations, take those separately, and sort of whatever you are doing, study, reviewing, just do it separately. So if I go inside the first one, I'm just opening it another tab. Let me know if you can't see the tab. So this particular exam, now all these details are just related to this exam. Now you can over here you can schedule the exam. As I mentioned that you can use the same website. So once you schedule the exam, again your same profile will be used. So it's very important that your profile is in sync with what you where you want, or your Microsoft certification record. At this stage, the skills measured is shown. This gives you the course outline or the examination outline, very important. So let me just open the exam outline. I'll just open this again because I want to follow the exam outline. So exam outline, very important to see when it was last updated. So one quick trick to remember is that Microsoft will keep updating this information. So in this case, as you can see, that Microsoft is already giving us a notification that this particular exam will be updated on March 23. Now today is 20th of February. If somebody is starting today and he or she wanted to study for this particular certification, then there are two routes which can be taken. Number one, schedule your exam before March 23, because if you are studying for it now, you are basing your studies on the basis of the current study guideline. As soon as the 23 March comes up, the guideline will be updated. So if you cannot take the exam by March 22, don't study for the exam now. That's my opinion. Don't study for the exam now. Wait for the study guideline to be updated. So as soon as it's updated on March 23rd, then you can start studying. And generally what happens is that Microsoft will take at least 3 to 6 months before updating the study guideline again. So once this updates on March 23, rest assured it won't be updating before June 23rd. So you will have ample time to study. But the idea is uh, you have to time your examination studies in a way that your certificate, your examination and your studies both fall into the same study guideline. So anyways, now study guideline, very important. It gives you the high level topics and the percentage, and also the detail of what will be covered inside those ones. So again, an examination technique is to keep more focus on the higher percentages, as you can see which sections will be covered more in the exams. And I've given a lot of exams recently, and trust me, these percentages are 100% accurate. If Microsoft says that you will have 10% questions on PVA, you will have 10% questions on PVA. There is no fooling around with these percentages. Again, as I mentioned, you have to go through here. I'm just wary of the time, so I'll just quickly skim to another important topic. Now, what Microsoft does is that it provides you the learning paths, recommended learning paths to achieve that particular exam. So for this exam, these are the Microsoft recommended learning paths. Now, at this stage, I want you to do one trick which will help you immensely. Don't follow the learning paths from here. You need to create a collection. What is a collection? Collection is, if you go into your Microsoft profile here, there is an option called collections. Now, what you can do is, collection is just that you can collect certain modules or learning paths together. So what I want you to do is to click over here and then create your own collection. So let's say I create a collection for field service. PL200 because this is PL200. So I'll just create a collection for PL200, and I'm not going to add all of these here. I'll just going to add a couple of them just to give you an idea, give you why we have to do it. So I just add a couple of these. So as soon as I've added these two, I don't know why it's not added. Okay, so if I now go into the collection, now the thing to notice is that immediately you can see that the Microsoft recommended time is shown over here, which was not shown. Let me just open it again on the another one so I can. So over here, as you can see, there is no time coming up. So just by looking at these learning paths, you don't know what is the recommended time to go through all these paths. But as soon as you add them into a collection, you can immediately see, number one, what is the overall time to go through all these learning paths, and also number two, how much have you done. Again, if you go through the if you can also sort of logically sort them here in an order, and once you go inside, it's the same information. But as I mentioned that at this stage over here, I don't know why, but Microsoft is not giving you the overall time, and the overall time in my opinion is very important, because once you curate all the learning paths for a particular certification exam in one place, it gives you an overall time. And then from an overall time based on and this is a suggested Microsoft time. So once you start acquiring and studying through this site, after a while, what will happen is that you will notice that the Microsoft suggested time, how it pertains to your particular self. So let's say if Microsoft is saying that this module number one is going to take 27 minutes. So once you do that module, you will have an idea whether you took what did you do, like if you took more or if you took less time. So after doing 10 or 15 different modules, you will have a fair idea of if Microsoft is saying for a random module that it will take you 44 minutes. So what will be your time? So I know for myself that it would be plus minus 10 minutes. So if Microsoft is saying 44 minutes, it will take me either 40 to 60 minutes. So it gives me an idea, and that idea is very important, because then I can use that information and I can come over here in my collection, and I can use that information. So assuming that these were just the two learning paths I needed to do for PL200, and it's giving me time of 5 hours and 38 minutes. And for me, it's about 10% variation, plus minus 10%. Then it gives me an exact idea that, okay, I have to study for about 6.5 hours for this certification. And then based on your own schedule, you would know how much time you can spend every day. Another key takeaway which I want to share is if learning is a lifelong thing, you cannot say that, okay, I'm starting learning today and I will learn for 3 days and then I'll stop learning for 5 weeks because I'm going to work on a project. It's like breathing. So whatever you are doing in life is a roller coaster, whether it's up, whether it's down, you will be breathing. So similarly, in my opinion, learning is a lifelong thing, and if you want to learn effectively, you have to do at least one module every day. And it just sort of gives you a habit. And if you go through the site, there are modules from from a duration perspective, as small as 10 minutes to as long as 2 hours. So again, if you are feeling down, if you don't have much time, but just sort of keeping the tradition alive of doing one module every day, do a small one, maybe 10-15 minutes one, but do it. And believe me, these small efforts of doing a single module every day will sort of extrapolate your learning in ways which you don't know. So you cannot study for a concentrated time, in the sense that, okay, I'll study for 2-3 days and then I won't study for 5-6 days. So all of this information is provided by the Microsoft side. They have gamified it, so you can see how much you have done, how much points you are getting. So as you do something, you get some points. So all of these are good to sort of motivate and play around with. So as you finish a module, you get a badge. So if I'll just quickly show you. So if you go in your profile, you can see how many badges you have done, and if you do a learning path, it's like a trophy. So as you can see, I spend quite a lot of time on this website. It's one of my favorite ones, and I would expect that everybody just if they can make this their personal favorite, then you can achieve great things. Okay, so this was just one of the things, and another key point is and this took me off guard in a couple of exams. When you go through the skill measured section, don't assume that all these sections are covered over here by these recommended learning paths. Microsoft, I don't know whether these are two different teams or whether they are just in the mood, but sometimes what has happened is that some fairly critical sections as per the study guidelines were not included in the recommended path. So that's why you have to go through the study guide and also go through the recommended path and see if all the study guide areas, just like whatever is mentioned here, if all the study guide is covered by the recommended learning path. If everything is covered, very good. Otherwise, you will have to go on the site itself. Go on the site itself and then try to find that information for yourself. So for example, if something is missing for fields which is in the which is there in the study guide but not in the recommended path, then you just have to sort of go to that product or that information. You can search from here. So let's say if PCF was missing or something, I can quickly search PCF and then it would give me some information. Okay, so nothing is coming up for PCF. Great. Power Apps component framework. Okay, nothing comes up. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why. Okay, so if Power Apps component framework was mentioned in the study guideline and it wasn't in the recommended path, then you can use the search facility and find out for yourself if there are any learning paths. But as I mentioned, don't assume. Microsoft is great at sort of joking around with these things. I've found out in quite a few certifications that the learning paths don't cover the 100% of the study guidelines. So just 2 minutes left. I'll open the door for any questions. Yes, guys, any questions?
I think it was a really insightful session. And if we have any question or any sort of a feedback or query, please go ahead.
Okay, so
perfect.
that's great. Everything was clear.
Yeah, everything is clear. That's good. That's good. And let's give one minute back to you. Thank you, Sarfraz,